All right, let's get right into it. Welcome, focus learners, to this exam prep explainer. Look, if you've been staring at a textbook for hours, trying to memorize the massive tangle of intricacies that make up extension program planning, take a deep breath. You are in exactly the right place. Today, I'm going to give you a highly structured, incredibly straightforward cheat sheet. Our absolute goal here is to guarantee retention for your upcoming test. We are going to lock these concepts into your memory for sure.
Okay, let's dive into this roadmap and get your mind organized. We'll be hitting core definitions, untangling aims, objectives, and goals, outlining the 3 planning phases, running through the exact 8-step process, checking out a real-world dairy farming case study, and then wrapping it all up with a rapid-fire final exam review.
Section 1. Core definitions to know. Building your foundational vocabulary.
Okay, mastering your foundational vocabulary is literally the easiest way to secure guaranteed points on your test. Why? Because examiners absolutely love testing definitions verbatim. So, an extension program. Kelsey and Hearn nailed this down way back in 1967, and it is still the gold standard. It is defined as a statement of situation, objectives, problems, and solutions. That's it. Just memorize those 4 keywords: situation, objectives, problems, and solutions, and you'll be golden.
Next, we've got the calendar of work. This is a plan of activities to be undertaken in a particular time sequence. And this brilliantly illustrates the concept. Think about a pulse polio program that runs on the very first Sunday of every single month. Adding that specific time sequence, that takes a general, loose idea and turns it into a rigid, structured calendar of work. Moving on to Section 2, aims, objectives, and goals. And hey, please don't fall for the classic exam trap here. Seriously, listen closely to this part, because confusing these terms is a trap that examiners set all the time. In everyday conversation, we use these words like they mean the exact same thing, right? But in extension planning, no way. They are entirely different. An aim is just a generalized, broad statement of direction, like improve the economic condition of women's self-help groups. It's great, but it's pretty vague. Now, what's really interesting about a goal is that it's the distance in a given direction over a given period of time. When you add a specific metric, like by 20%, and a hard timeline, like in 1 year, you instantly transform that broad, fluffy aim into a precise, highly measurable goal. So where does an objective fit in? Well, it actually sits squarely in the middle. It's the expression of ends towards which your efforts are directed. It gives you a clear, intended accomplishment, let's say a 20% improvement for those women's self-help groups, but it usually lacks that super rigid time boundary you'd find in a formal goal. So keep that hierarchy totally clear in your head. Aim is broad, objective gives an intended end, and a goal completely locks in the distance and the time. Section 3. The 3 planning phases. This is your macro blueprint.
So the crucial point here, when we zoom all the way out, is that all extension planning basically boils down to these 3 simple chronological phases. First, you have program formulation. That's figuring out exactly what you're doing. Second, program execution. That's actually getting out there and doing it. And third, program evaluation. That's checking to see if what you just did actually worked. Simple as that. 1, 2, 3. Section 4. The 8-step process. Let's dig into the micro steps. Okay, test makers adore making students list these specific sub-processes in the exact correct order. So let's run through them. You always start with a collection of facts. That directly leads to the identification of problems. Makes sense, right? Once you actually know what the problem is, you move to the determination of objectives, and then developing your plan of activities. After that, you're carrying out activities, but doing it alongside continuous checking. Then comes the evaluation of results. And lastly, reconsideration. Now pay extra close attention to that final step, reconsideration. Because reconsidering what went wrong or right leads you directly back to step 1, collecting new facts. It creates this amazing continuous loop of improvement.
Section 5. Time for our case study. Dairy farming with the Gramashri Self-Help Group.
Let's move to and see how this builds in the real world. Because trying to blindly memorize those 8 abstract steps is rough, unless you can anchor them to a real story. So how does this rigid process look in reality? We're going to dive into a real case study done by extension scientists in Kerala back in 2008. Shifting your mindset right now from pure theory to practical analysis is going to be your best weapon for those tricky application-based exam questions. All right, let's gather our facts, just like step 1 of our process. The Gramashri Self-Help Group started out with 17 members. They kicked things off small with a very modest first loan of 25,000 rupees, which they used to buy 3 Jersey cows. And they crushed it. Massive initial success. They were pumping out 90 liters of milk a day, selling it smoothly to a cooperative society, and paying back their loan at 7,000 rupees a month without a hitch. Basically, perfect execution up to this point. But then, well, because of that initial success, they managed to secure a massive second loan, a staggering 404,000 rupees. And what did they do? They used that huge chunk of money to blindly expand their shed and jump their herd all the way up to 17 cows. But they did this with zero proper planning, and frankly, without the specialized training you absolutely need to handle a herd of that size. Which brings us, tragically, right to step 2, identification of problems. When the extension workers finally visited the group, the reality on the ground was a total disaster. Out of the herd, the 14 cows they currently had left were completely dry. Zero milk production. The entire group was barely surviving just by selling dung and manure. Why did this happen? Well, a severe lack of planning, terrible management, and they had absolutely no knowledge of concentrate feeding. They were facing this massive, glaring gap between what they desired, which was a booming, profitable dairy business, and what their reality actually was. And that leads perfectly into steps 3 and 4, determining objectives and developing a plan. Because the extension workers didn't just point out how bad things were, they immediately provided actionable solutions. Look at these suggested interventions. They initiated education on proper concentrate feeding. They set up regular artificial insemination to get those dry cows producing milk again. They made planning and training a strict requirement before any future purchases. And they even went to bat for the group, convincing the bank to adjust the loan terms. They perfectly, almost textbook style, mirrored the formal planning steps to pull this group out of a real-world crisis. Section 6, Final Exam Quick Review. Let's lock it in. Okay, you are incredibly close to being ready to completely ace this test. Let's cement the most critical, highly testable concepts from this explainer one last time with a quick rapid-fire review. First, always keep these 2 definitions tightly paired together in your brain. A problem is simply the gap between what actually is and what is desired. It's the gap of having dry cows when what you really want is milk. A solution, on the other hand, is the proposed action to change that unsatisfactory condition. Actually implementing the artificial insemination training, that's the solution bridging that gap. And finally, I want to leave you with this one provocative question. Examiners love throwing this in to test if you actually grasp the concept rather than just memorizing it. What happens after step 8, reconsideration? Does the planning process ever truly end? The answer is a resounding no. Evaluation and reconsideration feed directly right back into fact collecting. Extension planning isn't a straight line. It's an inspiring, never-ending cycle of constant improvement. Keep that continuous loop fresh in your mind. Trust the rock-solid structure we've built today, and you are going to absolutely crush this exam. Good luck!